Hey guys, happy Friday. Thanks for joining me. So in this video today, I'm going to share with you some tips on living in a stratified unit. That could be a condo or a townhouse, because let's face it, living in a strata unit is so different from living in your own detached house. When you have your own property, you create your rules. You decide what you want to do, and you don't have to, abide by any rules or bylaws of a strata corporation. Whereas if you're living in a high-rise apartment or in a townhouse complex, there are going to be, bylaws, restrictions, and rules that you need to follow or abide by. And also, I would like to point out, when you're living in a strata unit, you live in such close proximity to people you don't really know that well. So in order to minimize any tension or issues that may arise from misunderstanding, it's good to be considerate as well and to get to know who's living around you. So let's get started. I'm going to split this video up into two separate ones, just because I find that shorter videos are usually easier to digest. So let's get started. Oh yes, and I forgot to mention, the pointers that I'm going to bring up, they're not just applicable to homeowners. They are also applicable to tenants as well. So long as your landlord has authorized you to become his or her representative, you should be able to find some of these pointers helpful to you. So my first advice for you, if you are living in a condo or a townhouse, is to join Strata Council. The reason for that is, if you care about the financial and physical health of your building or your complex, as a council member, you're able to keep a close eye on pretty much everything that has got to do with the Strata Corporation. So you would be part of a governing body that overlooks the daily operations of the Strata Corporation, and then also you would be empowered to enforce the bylaws and the rules that are written out in the Strata Property Act. Now keep in mind, it is extra work and you're not going to get paid. So if you do join, it's because it's out of goodwill and immense interest in your building. If you are a homeowner, I'm sure you would want everything to be running smoothly in the strata. Being part of the Strata Council has its advantages, obviously. If you see an issue within the strata, or a resident reports a problem, you as the council member can quickly consult the rest of the council and look into it, and then have the problem resolved ASAP. Now, if you're not part of the council, you're just a resident, what you would have to do is try to get a hold of one of the council members or the strata manager, and then you tell them about the problem and hope that they will look into it quickly. Now, in a well-run building, that wouldn't be a concern, but in a not so well-run or a poorly run building, it can often be quite difficult to get a hold of either a council member or the strata manager, and it could get quite frustrating. I should also remind you, you don't vote yourself in as a council member. So at the beginning of a fiscal year, at the AGM, annual general meeting, interested owners are given the chance to make a small presentation about themselves. That's when you want to show off your management skills, your interpersonal skills, and if you do well, I'm sure nobody will hesitate to vote you in as a council member. My second advice for you is to get to know your neighbors and be friends with them if you can. And here's why. For example, if you're going on an extended vacation, it wouldn't be hard to ask them to keep a watchful eye on your unit and to even help you collect your mail, because when you're living in a strata complex, mailbox theft is not uncommon. So you don't want to, have your mail left in the mailbox for too long. And then another thing is, if you know your neighbors well, it's not hard to ask them to stop doing something that's been annoying you. Now, remember what I said, when you're living in a strata unit, you live in such close proximity that, it's almost inevitable that something annoying will come up, and, you and your neighbors will have some tensions and butt heads. So we don't want that. So if you have a good relationship, it's not hard to knock on their door to ask them to refrain from doing something that's really annoying you. For example, they, throw a party and 20 of their friends come over, and all 20 of their friends just leave their shoes outside their door. And meanwhile, you open your door and you want to walk out, and, there they are, all 20 pairs of shoes. Pretty annoying, right? Or maybe they're like a family of, 4, 2 parents and 2 kids. They've got 2 strollers, and they like to park their strollers in the hallway, blocking, your way out. So, what can you do? Knock on their door and be like, hey, could you try not to put the strollers there? I need to move stuff out, or when I'm carrying groceries into my unit, it's really hard for me to squeeze past. So definitely get to know your neighbors and be nice to them. Be friends with them if you can. That way you can look after each other. My third and last tip for this first part of the video is read your minutes. Yes, as a homeowner, or even as a tenant, if you're reporting back to your landlord, reading your minutes is so important, and I don't see why you wouldn't want to. The meeting minutes basically describes everything that's going on within the Strata Corporation. In these minutes, you can find out, for example, if there's any homeowners who are defaulting on their strata fees and by how much, if people are speeding through the parkade like it's a racetrack, or there's some mediocre landscaping work that's been being done, and if council is going to fire them and hire another contractor. And then you can find out if there's going to be upcoming repairs that will cost some money. And then there's just so much to learn about your building. And so why people don't read them, it really boggles my mind. But I highly recommend that you do if you have just maybe 15-20 minutes in your day. Okay, so that's it for this video. The next part will be more pointers, and I will post that video next week. So hopefully you will join in again. Thank you. I will see you soon.